Hey, grace and peace, everybody. We are back in the building. All right. My goal today was actually to do a live stream talking about hitting 50,000 subscribers, which, by the way, I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel in the month of September. However, we got to talk about another church event. Somebody's attacked the church again, and this is in Michigan. And it's just becoming commonplace, man. And it's sad to see this type of action happening in places of worship. And but to add some encouragement to it, we know that our Lord still reigns, and if he sees fit, then that's how he sees fit. But I do want to bring this in. We're going to look at Benny Johnson today. He's talking about it. Then there's actually a press conference from the chief of police. So Benny did a pretty decent job, a really good job of kind of explaining what happened. So let's bring this in. And let's check it in. Grace and peace to everybody who's hopped into the best live chat on the internet. Thank you so much for rocking with us today. I just want to talk about this. It's really sober, really somber. So I want to talk about this. And I'll still come back tonight and talk about the 50,000 subscribers. And we'll have some fun tonight, Lord willing. Let's go.
Another Sunday in America, another deadly attack on a Christian church. Isn't it remarkable that it's always a Christian church? If there was an attack that killed every single week at a synagogue or at a temple or at a mosque, then it would be seen as a massive national emergency. Correct. It would take the whole of government to say that there is a group of people that are systematically under attack. But even though we've now seen 4 different church attacks in the last 2 months, many of them leading to death, there doesn't seem to be anybody connecting the dots here. So we'll do it for you. There is an attack on Christianity. It's happening right now. Active shooter is down. Multiple people shot. Smoke billows out of a Mormon, Michigan church after shooter opens fire. Multiple people have been shot in a Mormon church in Michigan. The active shooter opened fire at the Church of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Sunday morning. Local law enforcement says Grand Blanc Township Police Department said there are multiple victims. The shooter is down. It's unclear whether there are any fatalities. The department has said that the church is on fire in the aftermath of the shooting. And there's been an active shooter. Here, there are multiple victims. There is no threat to the public at this time. The church is actively on fire, presumably set on fire by the individual who drove their truck into the church and started opening fire on the actual church itself. Here's a photo of the church. Looks like your classic, just Christian church. There, photographs and videos taken on social media show a fire tearing through the church, large plumes of smoke overhead. This is what the church looked like. You can see here the smoke and the fire, the emergency vehicles. Here is also an aerial view you can see of the smoke itself. I mean, it looks like the church is a total loss. I mean, this is a horrific fire. So a gunman, again, drove his truck through the church and then started opening fire and then set the church ablaze. Let's listen to a firsthand account.
Scene of a giant fire happening at a church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. I talked to someone who just got here from South America. It's his first week in the U.S. Went to church with his mom. His mom is still in the building and he got out. From what I'm hearing on the ground, a man drove his vehicle into the church and then started shooting and even shot a little girl in the back, and she is at the hospital right now. The shooter has been neutralized, but that's all I know at the moment. Everyone within a 30-minute radius has responded to the scene.
Yeah. Cash Patel and Dan Bongino saying that the FBI is there on site. FBI responding to Grand Blanc, Michigan. This is some of the footage on site. Looks absolutely awful. We're tracking the horrific shooting fire set. So Cash Patel is saying it was a fire set at an LDS church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Agents are there on scene. Violence in a place of worship, cowardly criminal act, and our prayers with the victims. This terrible tragedy. Photos of the horrific event. They found bombs now in the truck located nearby. Was this a planned attack? Well, obviously, Skinner and Grand Blanc. Possible bombs found near the church. Fire where multiple people are shot. You can see here. This looks like new gunman crashed a truck into the Mormon church and set it ablaze. This looks like the truck that was crashed in. I mean, it's not in a parking lot. This is all breaking right now. We have the federal government responding. Christianity is under attack. Yes, obviously. An IED has just been pulled from inside of a truck at the Michigan church where the shooter shot up and then lit it on fire. Goodness gracious. Kamala Harris last night, we must light the fire. Goodness. Just perfect timing there. Shooter in Michigan drove a truck through the church and immediately started shooting churchgoers, and then the shooter set the church on fire. There are 10 victims. Conditions are unknown at this time. Again, there was a shooter that did something similar to a Baptist church in Michigan, drove their truck, or it was then trying to shoot the church, and then a deacon drove his truck over the shooter. This happened just a month ago. Of course, there was also the Minneapolis shooting where a transgender radical opened fire on children praying at Mass, Catholic Church. Mormon Church remains on fire in Grand Blanc, Michigan. You can see the police responding here. The sheriff confirms multiple victims. Let's listen.
The shooter is down. We do have multiple victims. The entire church is on fire, and we're working with fire and all those things that happened during an active shooter training. This is a dynamic scene. So the time where we are right now, there's going to be more updates. Just know that there's a lot of things that are happening that we are not able to communicate just because of the work that needs to be done.
Okay, this is what the sheriff is saying. 11 wounded, including kids, in mass shooting in the Grand Blanc Township Mormon Church building set ablaze. That's just awful. What'll it be, ladies and gentlemen? What's going to happen? What is going to be the motivation of the killer? My prayers are with the congregation and family. Well, I say killer. Let's just call him an anti-Christian terrorist. Despicable act than attacking people who are worshiping. It only ever happens one way. It's only ever Christian churches that are under attack. Fox 2 Detroit is reporting 6 to 8 victims. Please join me in praying for the victims of this tragedy. Once again, Christianity is under attack, and it's time to actually talk about it. That's the only way that we fix problems like this. This seems to be a larger scale trend, whether it's the shooting of Charlie Kirk or the attack on Mass in Minneapolis, the attack on the Christian church this summer in Texas and in Michigan. Christianity under attack. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Fox News with the biggest update. Please pray for the victims here.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Cork with you for Fox News Live. This afternoon, we're following a breaking news story out of Grand Blanc, Michigan. 6 to 8 victims at an apparent church shooting and attack. This is apparently an LDS, Church of Latter-day Saints Mormon church in that community. We do know that the shooter is down. We've also been told that there was a fire set, most likely by the shooter. There are unconfirmed reports at this hour that the alleged attacker drove a vehicle right into that building and then started the fire and then opened fire. Again, the shooter is down. We want to bring in former FBI agent Nicole Parker to help walk us through where we are at this particular stage. Nicole, great to have you. I'm looking at the size of this particular facility. They've got quite a lot of work on their hands, don't they?
They absolutely do. And Kevin, I just have to start by saying we need to offer our prayers.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm at a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints right now in Parkland, Florida. And I can tell you a little bit about how these faith services work. My understanding is that the worship service began around 10 a.m. likely. And in the LDS church, the first hour is what we refer to as sacrament meeting. And that is in the chapel where everyone meets together and congregates together to renew, covenants with God each and every Sunday. And that is likely what they were doing during that time. And so it's a 2-hour block of church meetings in the LDS church. The first hour is what we refer to as sacrament meeting. And so this person likely knew that during this hour, it ends around 11 o'clock. That would have been around 11 o'clock in Michigan, that there would have been a large group of people congregating together in that chapel. And they likely planned this well in advance. And from what you're reporting, they drove a vehicle into the church and then they came out and started shooting. What I can tell you is that initially this is going to be all hands on deck.
Shout out to Benny. Thank him so much for that. I appreciate him giving the update on that. We'll jump over to Fox News in a second and peep it out and see what they had to say and see if we can get a little bit more fuller understanding of this. Man, I just hate to see this, man. So we're going to jump in. There was a press conference about an hour and a half ago. So it might have given us a little bit more information, a little bit more intel. So let's go. Thank you so much for everybody who jumped in. And let's go. Let's go.
Make sure that everybody's ready. So everybody ready? Okay. Hi, I'm Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Rennie. That's Renye. Here to give you some preliminary details on an incident that happened earlier today at 10:25 a.m. within Grand Blanc Township. First off, I'd like to say our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of this incident, which is completely unnecessary and avoidable. The incident that we're going to talk about here today, as I said, was happening at 10:25 a.m. at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is located at 4285 McCandless Road. During this incident, what we know right now is that a 40-year-old suspect from Burton, he's a male, he drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. 10 gunshot victims have been transported to local hospitals at this time, including one who has been deceased. Officers who were trained immediately responded to the area. One was a DNR officer, and then one was a Grand Blanc Township officer, where they met the suspect and they engaged in gunfire with that particular individual, neutralizing that suspect. And that suspect is no longer with us. As I said, it is a 40-year-old male from Burton. During all this incident as well, there was a fire that occurred, and we believe that was deliberately set by the suspect. We do believe that we will find additional victims once we have that scene secure. That fire was just extinguished by the Grand Blanc Township Fire Department within the past hour. So where we go from here is we have investigators. We're going to do search warrants on the suspect's residence. We're going to find out if there was a motive. We're going to go through cell phone records, things like that. We have the FBI, they're devoting 100 agents to this area because, as you can imagine, there's a lot of witnesses that were within the church, and that is a lot of witness information, statements that we have to obtain. So I'd like to thank all the agencies who responded, the City of Grand Blanc, Genesee County, Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Flint Township Police Department, the DNR, the State Police, and the ATF. I will provide additional information for you at 5 p.m., but I am willing to take any questions that you have that I could possibly answer right now.
Chief, can you talk about the kind of the progress of events? Did the suspect set the fire, did he get back inside of his vehicle and then ran the front door, or did it all happen at the same time?
So from what I understand, and again, this is just a preliminary investigation right now, from what I have been briefed on, is that he rammed the vehicle through the front door, exited, then started firing shots. We are still trying to determine exactly when and where that fire ended up coming from and how it got started. So we believe it was deliberately set, though, by the suspect.
Were they in an active service when this happened?
Yes, the service was active. There was hundreds of people within the church.
Are you sure it's only one suspect at this point, or is it possible other people helped setting the fire, what have you?
Yes, it is one suspect that we know of at this point. We do not believe that there's a threat to the public. We believe that we have the guy who did this. Sir.
Could you comment on the severity of the injuries at this time?
We have a couple in critical condition. Like I said, one is deceased. The rest of them are in stable condition.
So a couple, maybe 3 or 2, I'm sorry.
One deceased. The suspect is deceased as well. And then multiple victims are in critical condition. We do believe that we will find some additional victims once we find the area where the fire was.
Any word on the weapon yet?
An assault rifle.
So, any, as far as ammunition, did he have live ammunition?
That I don't know of yet, and I could get you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Was the suspect known to authorities, and do you have any connection to anyone who was in that church?
Right now, we don't have any of that information, but I'm confident that our investigators, along with the FBI, we're going to end up uncovering all that information and provide that at a later time for you.
Chief, to clarify, you said there may be additional victims like inside the church, or?
Yes, where the fire was. So, and the reason why we can't confirm that just yet is because it was a large fire, and we do believe that there was people up there that were near that fire and they were unable to get out of the church. So we do believe that we will find additional victims once we're able to search that, once there's no signs of a fire reigniting.
So do you believe then that the victims that are still there, they succumbed to fire injuries or gunshots, or you're not sure?
That I'm not sure, but I could provide all that information hopefully at 5 p.m.
The shots were fired.
Shots were fired,
Sorry,
yes.
And he had no idea how many though at this point.
No idea how many at this time. Yeah.
Can you
Sure.
describe the church? Is there like a worship area and then like a gathering space or something like that? I mean, can you...
That I have not been in, so I can't tell you the layout.
Chief, can you kind of describe the process of how things change for tactical response when there's an active fire? Every training I've seen, it's always been a building that has not been on fire. So how do you then deal with an active shooter when you have that situation happening as well?
Well, we are here at Grand Blanc Township, and there's a lot of agencies within the state of Michigan. We are specifically trained to go right to the threat in an active shooter situation. And I'm proud of my guys and the DNR who responded to this scene, who immediately took that suspect out, so there was no additional victims. So it was a great job by our staff. Okay.
So it was a law enforcement officer that neutralized the suspect?
Yes, there was 2 law enforcement officers involved. I will be back here at 5 p.m. to give you additional information and hopefully answer some of the questions that you guys went over here today. So, okay. Supervisor Bennett.
I could just go sit in here. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Sorry.
Well, Scott Bennett, Grand Blanc Township Supervisor. Scott, S-C-O-T-T, Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T-T. First, let me say we are heartbroken. This kind of violence doesn't happen in our community, and we are heartbroken that it came to Grand Blanc Township. And we're going to do everything we can to support the families, the victims, and our community getting through this situation. And it's something that no community ever wants to have. And we're going to do our best to do everything we can. We appreciate the outpouring of support from our elected leaders from both national and state, in offering their assistance, and we probably will take them up on their offer. So we appreciate that very much, and we appreciate the community reaching out to us also. So the details are yet to come, as Chief Rennie has said, and we'll wait for a little bit later today when we have the rest of the situation assessed. But it may take a little while to do that. But thank you for all the support, and I'm sure that the families and the victims are going to need that. It's a tragedy that nobody wants to encounter. Thank you.
Chief, before you step out, can you go over the process for family members, where you want them to go, who they should call to get more information and reunification?
Yeah, so those family members, they are in a secure area right now. They have been taken over to Trillium. So that's where the FBI will interview them and then release them from there. So
I mean, in terms of anybody who might be at home who was not there, who wants to check in to see if their loved one is okay, is there a number or a place that you want them to go?
yes, you could call the Grand Blanc Township Police Department, 810-424-2611. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thank you all so much. Okay, so that is the most recent up to date, and they're supposed to have a 5 o'clock conference. I think they mean 5 o'clock Michigan time, so that's going to be a little bit. That's going to be in an hour. But yeah, man, this is tragic. I would highly encourage you to ask your leadership at your church what is the plan that they have for an event like this. And beefing up security is unequivocal. There needs to be a real bona fide plan, because police are only going to deal with it after the event has happened. And I can tell you emphatically that my church is properly prepared. We take every one of these, and we're going to probably take this one right here, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to look at what happened. We're in the middle of a building program right now, so there's a lot of construction going around the church and such like that. We're going to look and see, is there room for a truck to smash through a door or something like that? We're going to be looking at that. We got more cameras. We got new cameras. We got all that stuff. You need to ask your church leadership and be respectful to the fact that this is something new. A lot of these men are not equipped to deal with this. They just want to preach God's word or serve their community. They're not here to be defenders. So this is going to be a new thing for them. Deacon Bob or Elder John over there they're not ready to be carrying if they're not already carrying. So be kind to your leaders in your church, but ask, do we have a real bona fide plan? And there are tons of different organizations that will help assess your church's soft threat levels versus your hard threats and such like that. But I do think it's probably at this point on the congregations to just treat it like it's going to happen and just be dogmatic about it. Be dogmatic about it. I'm not saying you need to have a gun closet, but if y'all had a gun closet, it wouldn't be a bad thing. We have a real bona fide enemy that really, truly would love to wreak havoc on your community. And where else would it be just ideal but your place of worship? Next to schools, I can't think of anywhere else that would be more ideal for somebody of wicked mind to attack. So reach out to your school, reach out to your school too. Reach out to your church leadership and just ask, respectfully, do we have a plan in place for this? This is, again, like Benny said, this is probably the 4th event in probably 2 months. That's kind of crazy. And what do we have in plan? What do we have in store in the event, God forbid, that this happens here, or there's a threat that we know is coming through the door, and it's such of that nature. And be willing to help. So I'll just add this little bit to it, because I'm a part of the security team at my church. I know what we do to do our very best to make sure that every congregant, visitor, and guest that comes to our church is safe. And by God's grace, they can go home the same way they came. But be willing to, hey, you may very well have to start spearheading some things. You might need to be, you can't just be armchair or pew chair quarterbacking. This is going to be something that you need to be involved in. You know what? I can be on the security team and I can make sure that the emails go out to all the men that are on the first Sunday security team, make sure they have everything they need. That might be it. I'm on the security team and I'm making sure that we have our training on third Saturday. I'll make sure that everybody knows where to be. We got coffee and donuts for them to be there because we have officer this and that coming to talk about threat levels. That could be what you could do. I'm going to help spearhead something simple as locks on doors. You won't be surprised how perfect having a good locking system of a church helps out with good cameras. You know what? We're going to make sure you have good cameras at our church. Y'all see that for the 50,000 subscribers, your boy got a new camera. Shout out. New camera popping in. So, make sure your church has cameras that can be accessed from remotely outside of the church. And so like this church, they caught fire. Well, our church, all of our camera feeds go off-site. So even if something happened to the church building, God forbid, we still have access to those cameras so we can see what happened, what was going on, and such like that. These are some things that you as a congregant and member of 123 Baptist Church or XYZ Presbyterian, I hate to say it, this is going to have to be a part of your shtick too. You're going to have to be a part and help because your deacons, your elders, your leadership, they probably are not as equipped as they probably would like to be. And this is now a sad reality that we are going to have to be in a place where we are extra mindful of people. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to, this is not a 2A argument. We're not arguing about gun rights or anything of that nature. Because you saw two of them. The guy, this guy right here, he drove his truck into the building and it started shooting. I mean, if he drove his truck into the building and whatever he did with it starting that fire, he still could have caused a lot of carnage. So it's not only a 2A argument. So we're not going to have that discussion. But I do believe that you being willing to say, hey, pastor, hey, associate pastor, hey, deacons and elders, I would like to be a way of help, even if it's something simple as a resource. I will be the person that makes sure that everybody gets the emails about security. You know what? Here's something you could do. Here's something you can do. It's really small, but you don't realize how big an issue it is. If your church has on the wall around the building, it has a floor plan with all of the exit doors and stuff like that, you might need to talk to your church about whether or not that's a good idea to have that up on the building. Good gracious, if you have it on the website, take it off the website right now. But if you have it on the wall and I'm trying to do something nefarious and I'm scoping your church out and I come in and I see that, you have the building schematics right here. I can see all the doors. I take that or I take a picture of it. I now know all the ways that all the soft entry points of your church. It's something small. You might not need to have it on the walls like that. Or maybe put it in somewhere nondescript that only like your classroom teachers and such of that nature know where it is. But just general Joes and Sallys that just walk in the door, they don't need to see that. They do not need to know the ins and outs, all the doors and all the soft doors of your building. They just don't need to. And a lot of the time you have like school, if your church has a school in it, it's usually there because there's good reason to have it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have it, but maybe you all should look at, maybe we don't need to have that up on the wall. Because again, just any Tom, Dick, and Harry can walk in, take a picture of it, take it off the wall, and they have all that information. They know where all the doors are, all the windows are, exits and such like that. And you probably have the little arrows for the fire exits. It's just something to think about. Yeah, so that would be it. I hate it. that we have to have this conversation, but I mean, it is what it is. But to God be the glory. And at the end of the day, our faith is in Christ. Now, we do our very best. We lock our doors. We don't leave our purses on top of our car when we drive to the grocery store. But we're mindful of things that we're supposed to do. And then also we're just putting the final results in God's hands, because you can never be safe. We can never be safe because we're sinners, and we just kind of do a lot of sinful stuff, and we're pretty bad to one another. But there's certain things that I think we can be mindful of and be proactive, if you will. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of, there's a couple things that you could do. There's a lot of things that I believe you can do to just be proactive, just to be proactive. Not saying that we're saying, oh, well, because we have this, we know we're going to be safe. That's not what I said. What I did say is that you can be a deterrent, and there can be some deterrents that, I mean, for example, if this guy drove a truck through the front door, could you just move the flower pot? That big giant flower pot that's been over on the side, could that be in front of it so it'll just impede a car and be cemented down, and that would impede a car or truck from driving in through the front door like that? Something simple. We don't have to get into putting our faith and trust in man, because I think we could all, there's arguments on both sides. So that's not the argument I'm making. And I'm not trying to minimize this and turn it into a debate, but rather just asking y'all to, first of all, pray for this community, because this is horrible. I mean, the church was engulfed in flame. Like that entire building is shot, is gone. And they got people there, potential victims. They don't know if they succumbed to fire, the smoke, or were shot. Like, that's bonkers. So there's prayer for that as well. But then also your own church, your own community, your own fellowship, your own congregation. What do y'all need to be doing to be a little bit more mindful? Because we are, let's just be honest. Let's just keep it 100%. We are in a situation where Christianity is not favorable. Is seen as a soft target, is seen as the enemy to society and into culture. End of day, catch me outside if you disagree. So why do we pretend like we're not in a very antagonistic, very confrontational situation? Well, let's stop pretending and let's be real. That's all. Lots of good conversation in the chat. Lots of good conversation. I appreciate it. And again, I just wanted to pop this in. My goal, my intent is to hop back on later on tonight. I had a fun 50,000 subscriber video or live stream planned. And so I thought it'd be fun to hop in tonight later on, but I saw this and I just wanted to talk about it for a few minutes. So I appreciate all 100 of y'all that jumped in. I really appreciate it. If something changes, if I go a different direction, I'll change it up and make sure y'all know, and I'll probably just do it tomorrow or Tuesday. But I do want to say thank you all to everybody who subscribed to the channel. Welcome to all the new members. Thank you all for liking the videos and watching it. Man, you all have been a blessing. I just want to say thank you, because it really does mean a lot that you all find value in what we're doing over here. And I really do I don't want it to go without saying that I appreciate y'all and all of that stuff. I had some good reports, some things to let y'all know. So I will be, I had some updates to let you know some cool things that are going to be happening on the channel coming up real soon, as well as some changes that might be happening to the channel and such like that. Maybe a change to the studio. Who knows? So, yeah, that was just it. So thank y'all so much for rocking with us. My plan is to hop back in the booth at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. But I will keep you all posted if something changes. But I feel good today. My allergies were having their way with me yesterday, had me in a chokehold. It was bad business. But I'm back. I'm good. So my goal is to be back up in here around 7:00 tonight. I'll make sure that if anything changes, I'll give y'all a heads up. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. So let's do it again real soon. Jump into the comments, and I'll see you there. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.